What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I am here with the fights that we need to see get made after UFC 307 Pereira versus Rountree Jr. A lot of interesting performances that we need to talk about. We need to matchmake some fights, you know? We need to talk about the biggest winners and losers of this card. And honestly, there was such a drop-off in quality when I looked down at this card, going from like Pereira Rountree, Aldo Batista, we'll talk about that in a second, Holland, all this stuff, and then the last good fight that I really cared about was fucking Wonderboy versus Buckley. Then you just drop off a cliff when you look at the rest of the prelims. So if you're here wondering what I'm gonna book as like Tisha Pennington's next fight, I'm sorry, bro, you came to the wrong video. I'm only here to talk about the biggest and baddest performances. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about Wonderboy. Obviously, let's pour one out for the boy Wonderboy. Let's pour one out for my boy. He got slumped in round 3 by Joaquin Buckley. I picked Joaquin Buckley to win that fight. I wanted it to be by decision. I thought it would be by decision, but he put on a great performance. He went after Wonderboy. He went through some adversity. He got some takedowns. Wonderboy did a great job of getting back up, defending, sniping him on the way in. And it was a really promising performance from Wonderboy, even though he lost, because I honestly thought he would look older. I thought he would get taken down a lot easier, even though Buckley got him down pretty easy. I thought he'd get held down a lot easier, is what I mean. So I'm pretty confident in, like, you know what? Let's match Wonderboy up with some fucking grapplers, dude. And I think a great fight for both of these guys is Colby Covington versus Thompson. It's a fight I genuinely think Colby Covington would accept, because he's not going to fight Ian Garry. He's not going to fight fucking, I don't even know, Sean Brady. Some of these jabronis coming up in the welterweight division. He wants to fight a big name. He wants to fight somebody he thinks he's going to beat. And I think most people would be pretty split on this matchup after what happened against Joaquin Buckley. I think you'd find equal amounts, if not majority people, saying Wonderboy would win this. And I think you'd also find people that say, well, listen, dude, Colby Covington is going to be able to ragdoll him. So I think this is the perfect type of fight to have headline a fight night, or to have maybe as the featured fight of a pay-per-view, depending on where you put it. I think this is a really good matchup between two of the, you know, the old heads of this welterweight division. You know, a couple of legends of the fucking game. Yeah, shout out to the both of them. But yeah, it's a good matchup in my opinion, yeah. I think Colby Covington would probably win this, but I'd like to see this matchup. Let's do Wonderboy versus Colby Covington. As for Joaquin Buckley, here's the bingo card. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it. We did the bingo card. We did not get bingo, but we came really fucking close. I'm going to be honest, dude. We got really close to bingo. And one of those was the Joaquin Buckley getting a win and having a goofy call-out. And I'm willing to admit, I was wrong. He did have a bit of a crazy call-up, but it actually made sense. And the more I'm listening to people talk about it, like Dana White, John Anik, you know, Chael Sonnen, all these people, I'm like, hold on a second. They're actually going to make this fucking fight. I think they're going to make Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. And at first, I was going to try and be different and be like, oh, fuck it, let's do... what's the question? How do we do that? No, we're not doing that fight, kid. We do Buckley versus Ian Garry. But honestly, fuck that. Ian Garry doesn't deserve this shit, dude. You know, Ian Garry versus Leon Edwards makes sense to me. I think Sharpcut's going to get a title shot. I think JDM versus Sean Brady is a good fight that you could do in the welterweight division. I think Colby versus Wonderboy makes sense. And then why not? Why not give Joaquin Buckley a shot? He's on a huge winning streak right now at welterweight. He just KO'd Wonderboy. He's the, like, Sharpcut's getting a title shot for finishing Wonderboy. Joaquin Buckley just went out there and KO'd one of the best strikers in UFC history. Put on a great fight. Best fight on the card outside of the main event. You got to give him some fucking props, and you got to give him something good as a reward for that type of performance. This guy went out there and, like, he was having a close fight with Wonderboy, and he said, fuck it, I'm going to go get him. Like, respects, bro. Usman's on a 3-fight losing streak. If Buckley wins this, you have a bona fide contender. If Usman wins this, you might be able to justify putting this dude in the title shot. So I feel like Usman versus Buckley is actually a goated fight. Dude, I literally cannot touch my fucking neck to scratch my neck from training, dude. My muscles are so fucking sore right now. But regardless, dude, I think Usman versus Buckley is a fucking sick fight. And I'm so brain-rotted by Dana White. I'm going to try not to just call everything a badass fight in this, but I think that's a good fight. All right. Let's move on to Kevin Holland versus Roman Dolidze. I'm going to talk about Kevin Holland first. Not a good performance, man. Not a good performance. Injured. really, really starting to lose a lot of favor with the fans. Like, I feel like it's been so long of me saying this guy does not give a fuck. He doesn't try. You can't pick him in a big fight. And now I'm feeling like everyone else is kind of seeing what I've been saying for a while. And other people have been saying it as well. I'm not just saying I'm the only one that saw this. I feel like Kevin Holland really needs to lock in, dude, and dial the fuck in. Dial in. You know, I need to grab him and just bum, 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 smack him around. Lock in, bro. You're like pushing like 30-something now, dude. It's time for you to start taking your career fucking seriously in the UFC. Stop flopping around divisions. Stop flipping and flopping around. And pick a division. I'm going to say, Kevin Holland, you should go to 170 definitively. I know Joe Rogan said this guy could win a championship at 170. I'm not that fucking delusional. But I do think he has promise in that division. And I think Vicente Luque, win or lose against Nick Diaz, probably win. And I love Nick Diaz. Like, he's my favorite fighter ever. But Vicente Luque, if he beats Nick Diaz, he's still going to be ranked in the top 15 at welterweight. Kevin Holland's still ranked there as well. I think this is a great fight for next year. Let's do this in January, bro. Let's do this in February or March. Kevin Holland, Vicente Luque. Two kind of like promising, exciting contenders that are kind of on like the decline, or that, you know, people don't really rate anymore. I think the winner of this can move on to a fun fight against maybe like, if Kevin Holland wins, he can fight maybe like Gilbert Burns. Sorry. If Vicente Luque wins, maybe he moves on and fights like Colby Covington if he loses another fight, or if he just sits around forever. I think there's a lot of options that you can get with this fight to see where these guys stand at welterweight, and I feel like this is a fan-friendly matchup that makes a lot of sense for where both these guys are at in their career. So let's do Kevin Holland versus Vicente Luque. This is a fight I love to matchmake, dude. This is a fight I've definitely made a lot of times in like a UFC 5. I think it's a good idea, all right? As for Roman fucking Dolidze, this guy's on a fucking win streak. I was way too nice about 307. I'm going to say that right now, bro. I've had a couple hours, you know, I took a shower, you know, I was chilling, hanging out. And I was just thinking, Jose Aldo just lost and got blobbed against the fence. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Wonder Boy got slept. You know. What else happened? Juliana Pena, Raquel Pennington existed. You know. And fucking Ryan Spann won a fight as well. I can't stand Ryan Spann. Fuck him. And Roman Dolidze won a fight and got promoted to black belt. And called out the winner of Robert Whittaker, Khamzat Chimaev. Fuck you. You're not getting the winner of that, you fraud. Okay? This guy's like Spider-Man. I'm like J. Jonah Jameson. This guy's a fraud. I can't stand Roman Dolidze. Alright? Roman Dolidze, you can have Jared Cannonier. Fuck you. Okay? Dude, fuck you. You can have Jared Cannonier. And you're lucky to get that. You're lucky to be getting that. I think that's a pretty logical fight. He's on a little win streak right now. He's beat two big names. I think you can do Cannonier versus Dolidze. Honestly, I would pick Cannonier to win this. I know he's pretty chinny now, but like, it's Roman Dolidze. Like, that's all that needs to be said about the striking of this matchup. It's Roman Dolidze. I think you'll be fine, brother. You just got to jab and like, not bite on his feints while he's smiling menacingly at you. So, I think Jared Cannonier versus Roman Dolidze. 5-rounder probably benefits Cannonier. 3-rounder, maybe for like an Abu Dhabi. This gives me Abu Dhabi pay-per-view vibes. I don't know how to explain that. I don't think this is going to happen next year in October, but could definitely see this happening at like a fight night in Abu Dhabi as like a co-main event. I think Roman Dolidze versus Cannonier is a good matchup. Great test to see where Cannonier is at, because if you lose to Roman Dolidze, okay, you're genuinely cooked. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of my litmus test at middleweight for, is this guy really, really good? Like, I remember the GOAT Kyle Dorcas when he got KO'd by Dolidze. I was like, okay, there goes that title run. You know what I mean? So if Cannonier loses this one, I'm like, okay, he genuinely needs to retire. But you can excuse the Baralho and Imavov losses. Those are two top 5 middleweights. If he loses to Dolidze, he's absolutely cooked, broiled, roasted, and, you know, in the oven. But I don't think he would. So let's make this fight Cannonier versus Dolidze. Let's go for that. Now we talk about the featured fight, excuse me. Now we come to the featured fight. And this was a fight that took place. This fight occurred. There was a sanctioning body that put this fight together. There was promotion done for this fight. 2 men entered the cage. One man walked out. Jose Aldo walked out with a supposed loss. And another, you know, dude, fucking Mario Batista, bro. What the fuck was that, dude? Fuck Mario Batista. All right? I'm not treating this guy like he won that fight. Literally did nothing the entire fight. Such a shameful, useless, worthless fucking performance. Sport killing, you know, pay-per-view killing, division killing, ruining of your entire legacy as a fighter. Any fans of Mario Batista that existed before that fight, they're gone now. And Mario Batista, you're lucky that you're not gone and shipped to the fucking PFL after that performance. I usually try to be complimentary of fighters. I try not to shit on them. But that is genuinely one of the worst performances I've ever seen in a UFC fight. You should be ashamed of yourself, bro. I mean that with 100%. I mean that with 1,000%. You should kill you. No, I'm just kidding. But Mario Batista, I'm not treating this guy like he won a fight, dude. I'm going to treat Aldo like he won that fight. So as for Mario Batista, I think you can fight Song Yadong. I can't really justify letting this guy fight down the rankings and ruining another fucking legacy, like letting him fight Dominic Cruz and hold him against the fence too. Fight Song Yadong, tough guy. Hey? Why don't you fight Song Yadong? Song Yadong, please chin this fucking guy, bro. I swear to God, I've never seen a fighter develop so many haters in one performance, but Mario Batista actually deserves it for that performance, bro. He needs to go to war with Song Yadong to redeem himself, or he needs to get chinned by Song Yadong for all of us to be finally happy after what happened at 307. I feel like I'm going overboard, but I'm feeling myself turn into fucking prime LTG right now. It's taking me over like a Venom symbiote, dude. Like, the way that he fought in that fight genuinely pissed me off so much, and it's just the fact that people are gonna get on fucking Twitter. Hopefully not as much with this fight, but they do it all the time. Dude, if you don't want to watch this, just watch kickboxing, man. It's one thing if a fighter can fucking wrestle and they win a fight with their wrestling and they mitigate the striking. Okay, I get saying that because it's MMA and you're allowed to wrestle. I'm not saying don't wrestle. I am saying that this is not a sport if you hold someone against the fence and you don't do shit and you get outstruck, you get outdamaged, you get dropped. That's when I have a fucking problem with this shit, dude. That's when the solution is not just go watch kickboxing. Fuck that. It's MMA. You win by trying to finish the fight. You win by causing damage. You win by being an effective grappler. This guy was none of those things. Couldn't land a takedown to save his life. Couldn't land any good shots against the fence. Anything but fucking shoulder strikes. Stomped on the toes. That's it. Couldn't outbox Jose Aldo. Couldn't outdamage him. You know, rocked all over the place. Dropped in round 2. Couldn't land a single takedown. 0 for 10 on takedowns. And he won that fight. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You can fight Song Yadong. And you're lucky to get that, bro. I should be booking this guy in the fucking next PFL tournament against, like, Patchy Mix, dude. Or some shit like that. That's where he should be. Is fighting Patchy Mix next. Alright? Let's move on to Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, you need to fucking get off the fence when you defend these takedowns. But you won that fight, in my opinion, brother. And I feel like the UFC has set a precedent, especially with Jose Aldo for some reason. They just, if he loses a decision they're not happy with, they'll just fucking move on like he won. If he loses the fight, but they want him to keep, they'll just go, fuck it, we'll just give Jose Aldo a title shot. They did it with Marlon Moraes, and I feel like, you know what, let's just move Aldo on like he won that fight. Let's give him Henry Cejudo, dude. Let's give him Henry Cejudo. They're both coming off a loss. They're two legends. I don't want to see Jose Aldo fight his next fight in the fucking Apex against, like, Marcus McGee or some bullshit. Give him a real name that if he loses to, okay, it doesn't affect his legacy that much, but I think he would win this fight, and I think this would be way more entertaining than whatever the fuck happened at 307. Let's do Cejudo versus Aldo. Pay-per-view worthy matchup, especially if they go to Brazil early next year. I think this is a great idea for that. It'd be an amazing headliner, honestly. I think it would do a lot to redeem Henry Cejudo if he went in there and had a good fight against Aldo, especially coming off that Batista one. All this guy has to do is strike for one round, and he's already done better than fucking Mario Batista. And he'll get respect from the fans, and people go, you know what? Cejudo actually came to bang. Right? This is actually a good fight, dude. Like, he could actually win this fight against Jose Aldo just as much as I think Jose Aldo could win this matchup. So I think you have to do two legends against each other. I don't want to see Cruz versus Aldo. I think we all know exactly how that goes in 2024. This is a lot more competitive. Even than some people might think, I think this is more competitive. So let's do Cejudo versus Aldo and just act like he won that fight, because he basically did. Now we talk about the main event. Obviously, in the co-main event, Juliana Pena supposedly won. Not real, but regardless. Obviously, that you have to do Juliana Pena, Kayla Harrison. You pray that Kayla Harrison wins that. Maybe you do Pennington versus Harrison as her first title defense. That's kind of what I'm thinking with women's bantamweight. But nobody care, man. Nobody care. Nobody care. I'm not impressed by your performance. Nobody. Are you intoxicated? Nobody care, man. It's really late at night, so I just start schizo-maxing with the impressions. But main event, Khalil Rountree went to war with Alex Pereira, had some great moments, showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of great striking, gassed out a little bit. I think you have to reward him with a big fight, and I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, let's rebook Jamal Hill. I get it, but I feel like Khalil Rountree's going to need a lot of time off after that beating that he took. I don't think it's going to make sense for him to fight the loser of Rakic Ankalaev if it's Ankalaev. Like, I think if Ankalaev wins and we get Rakic versus Rountree, that's a great fight. But if I have to say off the top of my head, who should I book against each other right now? I think Jan Blachowicz bouncing back, coming back to the picture against Khalil Rountree is a great fight. Badass matchup. Like, the Muay Thai in this fight would be fucking sick. You could headline a fucking fight night with this. I think both of them are on similar timelines. Jan's coming off some injuries. Khalil Rountree's going to need some time off to recover from the loss against Pereira. This is a great fight. And if Jan Blachowicz wins this, boom. Magomed Ankalaev, Jan Blachowicz 2 for the title. Boom, booked. Or Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz 2 for the title. Boom, booked. If Khalil Rountree wins, him versus Pereira, not at elevation. Boom, you're welcome. This is a win-win for the UFC, this matchup. Whoever wins this, well, you have a title shot on your hands, and you were one of the hardest fights for Alex Pereira and for Magomed Ankalaev. It makes so much sense, in my opinion, to do this. So, I think Jan Blachowicz versus Khalil Rountree is a great idea. I would love to fucking see this. I'm praying that they make this, especially next year when the Apex is fucking gone. Because Dana White's been talking about the Apex like a kid moving out of home. Like, yeah, listen, we got to get out of the fucking Apex next year. Listen, I'm packing my bag. Listen, yeah, I'm going to clean my fucking room. All right? Next question. So, hopefully we're out of the Apex. We can get some crowd fight nights. And we can get Jan Blachowicz versus Khalil Rountree headlining a fight night. That's badass, kid. All right? Main event. Come on, dude. It has to be Ankalaev. I'm sick of fucking John Anik talking about, there's something to that. I think he's going to go down to middleweight. I'm sick of that shit. I'm sick of Chael Sonnen trying to be... I want to see him fight John Jones. I want to see him fight Tom Aspinall. I would even offer you this, a Cyril Gane matchup. Fuck that. Stop talking about fucking Aspinall. Stop talking about fucking Jones. Stop talking about Gane. Stop talking about Dricus. Don't even dare mention Sean or Hamzat. Fuck that. Sean's going to fight Dricus. I'm going to make a video about that tomorrow. Hamzat versus Whitaker. The winner of that is getting a title shot next. Okay? And then Israel Adesanya at middleweight should be fighting Nasruddin Imavov or Cal Boralho. And the winner of that will get a title shot next. After that, heavyweight is booked. Tom Aspinall is going to be the champion. His first title defense is going to be against Cyril Gane. Or Jailton Almeida. Alex Pereira, you must stay at light heavyweight. Fight Magomed Ankalaev. Prove me wrong. Prove all the people wrong that think you're ducking this guy, that think you're going to lose to him because you haven't faced a pure wrestler who's able to take down and beat the shit out of Jan Blachowicz in the grappling, who took you down, right? I know you've improved, but still, that's a big question mark there when you look at those two fights side by side. And prove them wrong, dude. Take your time off, recover, because this guy's fought 3 times this year. I don't want to see this guy again in 2024. I think he's crafted the perfect year. I think him versus Ankalaev next year after Ankalaev recovers from the fight against Rakic. If Rakic wins, I fucking love that fight too. Don't get me twisted. I believe Rakic versus Pereira would be a sick fight as well. But I feel like we all want to see, well, not all of us, because there's people out there defending Khalil Rountree getting a title shot over Ankalaev because he did good, even though he did not deserve it at all. Like, let's be fucking real. You know, but most people, I would say, want to see this happen. Even if it's just like Pereira beats him and we go, okay, well, we fucking, you know, he beat the number one contender. He's literally that guy. I feel like this does so much for his legacy compared to some bullshit at middleweight that's never going to happen. So that's my opinions on this. Pereira needs to stay at 205 and just keep defending his fucking belt until he retires. Seriously, he should just defend against Ankalaev, defend against Olberg, defend against Blachowicz or Rountree in a rematch, and call it a fucking day, dude. Like, just retire after that. 2026, retire, man, as the GOAT. You know, as one of the GOATs, I guess, right? Because you'll never be the light heavyweight GOAT, I guess, with Jones, but you can come pretty fucking close. Like, you're getting, with a couple more defenses, he's starting to pass DC. I feel like that would be pretty fair to say. But let me know your opinions down below, guys. What fights do you want to see after 307? What do you think of my matchmaking? I feel like this is all pretty obvious. You know, I feel like mostly what you're here for is my takes on all this stuff that could be coming up next, but I'm going to be doing a video talking about UFC 311 in January in California. I'm going to be talking about Strickland versus Duplessis as well, so stay tuned for that video tomorrow. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, man. All right, I'm up here grinding before bed. Subscribe to the channel. Go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Goodbye, everybody.